What the hell is up, you fucking cunts? I really don't want to record this right now, so I'm just gonna go through this pretty fast. This is episode 36 of Resident Bummer. Fulcrum is back. As you know, this is going to be the 37th episode ever released. Health check, 7 out of 10. Clothing check, I'm wearing a blue shirt and some basketball shorts. Motivation check, 2 out of 10. I gotta get through this. Let's get into my journal real quick, and then I can stop fucking recording this. And of course, my journal is not open, so I have to stall. There we go. This is Friday, September 26th, and set 36 day 1 at 1:10 a.m. I finished recording. I saved the episode and I set up my Xbox and start streaming Mass Effect 1 on Discord. There's also a cutscene that makes my sister's dog freak out and jump back. It was very funny to watch him do that. At 7:35 p.m. I get 20 minutes of sleep the entire night, and I wake up drenched in sweat, 4 or 5 in the morning. It's a very gross feeling. Thankfully, The Conjuring was not the problem, as I had just watched The Conjuring earlier that night. It was the blanket that I was using to sleep, a very heavy blanket and thick. No way to let the heat out. It was a cold basement I was sleeping in, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but at 4 in the morning, I take a quick shower to get all the sweat off of me. I lay back down on the couch, but I do not catch any more sleep. I do try and use my sleeping superpower a little bit, but eventually I just get way too bored. I can't sit there doing nothing, so I get up and I start streaming Mass Effect in the voice channel. I feed the dogs when it's time, and I forgot my work shoes, so I change into my work clothes and head over to my parents' house to put them on. I head to work. I say hello to Anna and Richard when I clock in, and then I get to work. Work sucks, and I definitely cry during work at least once, apparently. But I do take off when I clock off, and I get back to my sister's place. Start to edit the podcast episode, and I get my Xbox turned on to play some Mass Effect. I finish the edits, and I upload the episode of Resident Bummer. Then I start to stream some Mass Effect. I also cry a couple of times while I'm sitting playing Mass Effect 1. I do finish Mass Effect 1, and I install Mass Effect 2 to begin playing that, but that takes a while to install, so I swap over to Gears Reloaded and keep the stream rolling. But apparently while I'm playing Gears, I cry a little bit more. That's awesome. Not great, but question mark for this final entry. I am super tired, so I fall asleep a little bit into playing Gears, but I did find a person while I was looking for a group, and we went through a couple of chapters. I believe I'm not very far into Gears Reloaded. I need to keep playing it. Set 36 day 2, however, we're going to move on to the next day of entries at 6:30 p.m. This is Saturday, September 27th. 6:30 p.m. I wake up, I shit, shower, I jerk off in the shower like an absolute animal. I'm super horny this day, but I don't know why. I head upstairs and I feed the dogs. I'm still at my sister's place, obviously. And then I play some Mass Effect 2 while streaming that in the voice channel. I am hopping on and off the game throughout the day. I also start drinking some alcohol at some point, and I make a pizza for myself. Also, I get a new match on some dating app. I saw it before I went to bed, and then I replied. They respond a while after I wake up. We talk about some games. We're going to call this girl Jenna. She's definitely good looking and has some alt/goth girl vibes. I ask for her number, and she gives it to me as well as her Snapchat. I text her, and eventually I ask if she wants to play a game. My sister arrives, and I pack my shit up to go home. I get there, I get back to my house, my parents' house I should say, set up my Xbox and start streaming. Question mark for this entry. Jack joins the voice channel at some point, and we talk a bit about Mass Effect 2. Apparently he has a Tinder match as well that we talk about, and some other stuff. I watch a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, not Brooklyn 99. It's actually called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Fucking idiot. I don't fall asleep quite yet. Jenna texts back and forth with me and agrees to play some games tomorrow after I am off work. Excuse me. Grab some ice water before I go to bed. This is after I woke up from a short nap, however, and I continue to watch some more Brooklyn Nine-Nine, not B99. That's the acronym I use in my journal to make it shorter. B99. I think I may have played Mass Effect 2 at some point Saturday night as well, but I cannot remember for sure. Eventually I get to bed, which leads us to moving on to set 36, day 3. 6:10 p.m. I wake up, a shit, shower, brush, and then I hop into bed and scroll on my phone for much too long. I change for work and I drive into work, clock on, and I say hi to whoever's working. Can't really remember. Question mark for this entry. I'm guessing that work sucked, but I make plans to play with Jenna. We're going to play Roblox online after work. I clock out of work and I get home. I text her and I let her know I'm going to shower and then I should be ready to play. She says that she's making food and she will be good to play after that is done. I hop out of the shower and I let her know that I am ready whenever she is. I start watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine while waiting. Unfortunately, Jenna never texts me back. The last text that I sent her was her letting her know that I'm ready to play Roblox. And I just got completely stood up there. No response. I do have Roblox loaded up for a lot of the night, or an hour or two after. Like, I still think something might happen, but eventually it's like, okay, clearly nothing's gonna happen here, so I eventually boot up Fortnite to check out the Daft Punk event that, Jenna told me about. It's a cool event. Then I watch a bunch of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think, for the rest of the night. It's pretty fuzzy, but I go to bed at some point. And we are moving on to Monday, September 29th, set 36, day 4 and 5. I forgot to journal for Monday, so these are both crammed into Tuesday's entries. On Monday, I woke up, I shit, I showered, I brushed, and I hopped into bed for some Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I did notice a text from Richard, but he asked if I could come into work 2 hours early. In my mind, I'm just like, fuck that, I don't really want to, and I text him like an hour later, and I'm just like, oh, I just woke up right now as I'm sending you this text, which is a total lie, but I didn't really want to go into work early, so I change when it's time for me to drive and clock in. I say hi to Richard and Anna when I get there. Work sucks, and I don't really enjoy it. But I do get 2 new matches during work. One is promising, but the other is very dry and unresponsive. We're going to be calling the match that is responsive, we're going to call them Hutch. They are 2 hours away from me. They're also 19, and they are in college. And they are also fairly interested in me, from what I can tell. This probably is not going to end well. We text a lot back and forth. They instantly respond quite a bit. I leave work eventually and get back home, watch a bunch of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I text with Hutch about it. They watch it, apparently, and they ask if I want to get on a phone call at some point during the night. Luckily, I told them that I texted them, and I was like, hey, I'm getting tired real soon. I might be heading to bed soon. And then after that, they were like, oh, do you want to get on a phone call before you go to bed? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I'll probably only be on the phone for like 10 or 20 minutes because I'm getting tired. They agree because they're getting tired as well. I give them a ring, and I don't get any bad vibes from the talk that I have with them. They do call me cool 3 separate times. They're just like, you're cool. You're so cool. You're cool. And then I say that I'm getting tired after like 15 minutes of talking, and we both hang up after saying goodnight. I watch some more Brooklyn Nine-Nine until I head to bed. Moving on to Wednesday, at 9:20 p.m. I wake up, I shit, I shower, I brush, I hop in bed for some more Brooklyn Nine-Nine until I change for work. I drive in, I almost drop a note into the window of a fucking retarded driver that pisses me off on the way into work, but I decide against it. And then I walk inside to clock on to work, say hello to Benjamin and Anna. I get to work and I fucking hate it, as always. I text with Hutch throughout the day, and I ask if they want me to drive up so we can go on a date tomorrow. They say yeah, and I say hell yeah. And then I ask when she's free, or when they're free on Thursday, so I can plan my drive. I leave from work and text a bit more, and then I take the dogs on a walk, and they both shit. Thankfully, I remember to refill some bags in my pocket. I get home, and both of the dogs are absolutely tuckered out. Text some more with Hutch until I find a breaking point. I catch a rest for a bit. They don't instantly reply back at all, and they leave it at a breaking point, so... But otherwise, they are extremely prolific with texting and like getting back instantly. It's like, oh gosh, I understand. I do need to respond. I need to get better at responding quicker. But when I'm in the middle of something like watching a show or going through music or whatever, it's hard for me to pause that one thing and respond. I usually just end up responding while the TV show is playing or what have you, and I end up missing out on the show that I'm trying to watch, I guess, or whatever I'm consuming at that moment in time. I do sit in my room and basically do nothing for the entire night Wednesday. I do watch an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine around 1 a.m., but I get into a huge amount of personal stuff before I go to bed with Jack. I'm sending him a lot of fucking garbage bullshit from my end, and I'm just like trying to make it his problem, which is unfortunate. I feel like a douchebag, but oh well. It's what my brain is telling me to do, so I'm just gonna keep listening to my brain until I find a better source of direction, you know? I guess the easiest way to describe it. I do genuinely feel terrible wasting a lot of his valuable time like this. I can guarantee talking through any of it won't help, or I can almost guarantee that. It's like, it never seems to help when I just sit there and talk or type with someone about my what's going on in my brain. It just never seems to do anything to help. But eventually I head to bed, which brings us to set 36, day 7. At 10 p.m. I wake up, I shit, I shower, I brush, and then I chill and watch some Brooklyn Nine-Nine while waiting to take off from my place. If you don't remember, I have a date with Hutch today, so that's going to be happening. A pest control person creeps into my room before I leave my house and sprays some corners in my room to keep the bugs out. Yay, eventually I shave and shower yet again. And then I dress to take off and meet with Hutch. It takes about 2 hours to finish the drive. I park on the street that they told me to park on, and I walk to their location down the street. I sit on a bench, and I snap them to show them that I have arrived, and I'm sitting on a bench outside of a gas station. Somehow, I sat down like 5 feet away from them without either of us seeing each other. It's pretty weird, but after they open my snap, they get up and look around for me, and they're like, hey. And I look up, and I'm like, hey. And then we both start walking back to my car. We're talking and introducing ourselves. We do find out that we went to the same high school. We do talk about some of the teachers that we had there as we drive to a drink shop, like a coffee drink shop. We do arrive, and we order some Shirley Temples. Then we decide to read some Edgar Allan Poe, quickly followed by The Great Gatsby. We finish the first chapter of of the Great Gatsby, and then I drive to a park with Hutch in the passenger seat, obviously, and we walk around. We find a log to sit on that's by a pond. They do, as we're sitting there, they keep looking at me like they really want me to kiss them very badly. So I give them the kiss, and they reciprocate, and then they start sucking on my neck, give me some frickin' hickeys, freak mode, They sit on my lap. Eventually, they reorient themselves and sit down on my lap, and then we start kissing some more. Then we head back to the car to the dorm room. At 10:25 p.m., we crawl into their bunk bed and start kissing some more. Then we get naked and then we have sex, basically, is what happened. Apparently Fulcrum is turning into a bit of a fucking slut. After we're done having the sex, we lay in their bunk bed until I take off for home. I fill up with gas on my way home. Then I make some chicken nuggets and watch some Brooklyn Nine-Nine when I get home. Then I get ready to record the podcast, which is where I am at now. Good Lord, just smack the fucking microphone with my phone. That's incredible. I feel like I was going to do something specific here towards the end of these journal entries, but I'm forgetting what yeah, I think I know what I was going to say. Man, I still smell the sex on me. It's crazy how you can just smell it. It has a very distinct stench. But I think that's all I wanted to say. So now we're moving into the outro, which of course, if you are a fan of mine, you will know that I don't care for outros. I'm not going to do outros until I feel like I need to start doing them, which is probably going to be never, as I always say. The only thing that I do outro-wise is just a rating for the week out of 10. This week's rating was a lot of up and downs, I guess. Yeah, maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10 as an overall rating, but it got up to 8s and 9s, as well as 4s and 5s, if I had to guess. But just an average out score. Yeah, I think somewhere between a 6 and a 7 is probably where it's going to be at. But all of that aside, we're at the end of the episode now, and I just have one last thing to leave you with. Am I really making a podcast, or am I just jerking off?